All right. Terence Crawford is free to fight Shawn Porter. And that is absolutely positively what he wants, what he needs to do, since we just found out that Errol Spence Jr. is going to be fighting Danny Garcia in January. That's what Bud needs to do. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Before I get into the argument that I'm going to make and we talk about this Shawn Porter, Terence Crawford fight that Shawn Porter wants and Terence Crawford doesn't, let me welcome you back to the channel and say thank you to supporters that come to the channel, listen to the arguments that we make on the channel and the news that we break on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment sections, and thank you for listening to the video all the way through. Thank you to my supporters on the Patreon, Fanon's Business and Politics. Thank you very much for your support over there. And also my live stream community. Thank you guys. You guys come every morning, and man, the conversations are great. Monday through Friday, starting around 11 a.m. To 11:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, and also the weekending show that we have, which is OG Boxing Talk, Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. with the great Kurt Sugar, KQKC Boxing, and my man, Blood Boxing. Now, let's get into this. All right, we know, give me a little background first. We know that Errol Spence Jr. now came out last night. I think he did it on his Instagram. I've seen it all over the internet, right? Or all over the different boxing channels, So the news comes out that Errol Spence Jr. is going to fight Danny Garcia in January. Now, that was originally came out when, right after the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia got into the ring. Now, and for him to get into the ring and then for those guys to set it up like that, that tells you that there were some people in the PBC, or at least it tells me, and I think it's reasonable to assume that that is a fight that those guys were setting up before that fight was made. If Errol Spence Jr. wins, this is the next step. This is what we're going to do next. We're going to fight Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is ranked, I think, he's ranked in both the IBF and the WBC. I think he's number 4 in the IBF. He might be number 1. He might be number 1 in the WBC, but I don't believe that he's actually Errol Spence Jr.'s mandatory. But they said that they were going to make that fight, right? After that, Shawn Porter said he wanted a rematch. Errol Spence Jr. comes out in a tweet and says, hey man, let's run it back, but with Shawn Porter. But apparently that's not the case. What they're going to do is they're going to fight Danny Garcia. So I did another video, you can see it up today, and where I talk about that particular fight between Danny Garcia and Errol Spence Jr. and why I think it's a good fight. I don't think that it is a great fight. It's not the fight that I would want first, but that fight is going to be made. It's an exception. It's an acceptable fight. It's easily a top 5. It's a top 5 welterweight coming off of another top 3 welterweight. In the fight before that, another top 3 welterweight. Errol's consistently fighting top level competition, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that Danny Garcia fight, although that is the fight that that's not the best fight that I like to see. So where does that leave Bud Crawford? It leaves Bud Crawford in a situation where Bud Crawford needs to do something to catch up with the rest of the welterweights. And I do believe, and I know there's a lot of Bud Crawford fans that don't like that I say this, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to consistently say it. It is up to Bud Crawford to fight other top welterweights. It is not fair. It is not fair. It is not equitable. It is not realistic for Bud, nor is it acceptable, in my opinion, for Bud Crawford not to fight other top welterweights and just fight whatever is given to him by Bob Arum, while all the other top welterweights fight each other. and then have the pressure put on them to fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford needs to do what Manny Pacquiao did when Manny Pacquiao was the number 2 welterweight in the welterweight division. The number 1 welterweight at the time that I'm speaking of was Floyd Mayweather Jr. The number 2 welterweight at that time was Manny Pacquiao. And there was a lot of talk about the two of them fighting. Bud Crawford is in now. Neither one of them are really in the position that either Floyd was in or Manny was in. Floyd was a box office phenomenon at the time. How did he become a box office phenomenon? By chasing down and fighting multiple top fighters up until the point that he got the Oscar De La Hoya fight. When he became the top dog, he got chased by Manny Pacquiao. What did Manny Pacquiao do to put pressure on Floyd to make the fight and get to the point where that fight almost became inevitable? He fought multiple top level heavy welterweights. He fought Cotto. He fought Mosley. He fought Margarito at a catch rate at 152. The Margarito who had beaten Cotto. He fought Oscar De La Hoya. Before he fought Tim Bradley. Multiple top welterweights. Manny Pacquiao fought them. He fought even Juan Manuel Marquez, who later on moved up to 147 and fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. at 147. Manny Pacquiao fought those guys. And by fighting all of those guys, it became a situation where people could really make an argument, though I didn't agree with it. I think I saw what was going on with Bob Arum, and I thought Bob Arum was going pay-per-view to pay-per-view to pay-per-view to pay-per-view with Manny Pacquiao, right? And was probably was definitely getting paid major money off those pay-per-view fights on the way to making the Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight. But for the sake of just examining the actual people that they fought, you will see that Manny Pacquiao fought multiple top, either current or top welterweights. Compare that to what's going on between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford right now. Errol Spence Jr. is attempting to ascend to the top position in the welterweight division. What he has done is he fought Kell Brook, who was at the time he did it either the number 1 or the number 2 welterweight. That between him and Keith Thurman, and all arguments about what happened at 160 that's just hypothetical. He lost at 160. He lost a fight at 160. He was still the 147-pound champion. He had beaten Shawn Porter. It is clear that the guy was a world class and one of the top welterweights. Errol Spence Jr. beat him on the road to get his championship. After that, Errol Spence beat Mikey Garcia, although Mikey Garcia is a good fighter. He was a pound for pound, one of the pound for pound fighters. I've never accepted that he moved up 2 weight classes. He just drained down one to fight at 135 that he couldn't make. That's why he hardly ever fought there. And he fought at 140 pounds. He moved up 1 weight class, at least that's what I see it, and Errol Spence Jr. beat him easy. But that is a top name. Then Errol Spence Jr. fights Lamont Peterson. That's another guy that held a minor belt at 147 pounds. Then he fights the 2-time champion for the IBF and the WBC, Shawn Porter. And then after that, he'll fight Danny Garcia. Those are all a bunch of good names. They're all a bunch of good names. Terence Crawford needs to get some of those guys on his resume. And that's why I say he needs to fight Shawn Porter. This is the perfect opportunity for Terence Crawford to do exactly what it is that Manny Pacquiao did. Now, he doesn't have the access to all of those fighters that Terence Crawford did, that Manny Pacquiao did, because Bob Arum doesn't have that many fighters, that many welterweights that he can have fight. But he should fight Kell Brook. He can fight the best that he has available for his name to make an argument that he's the top welterweight and have people really be able to make a comparison between these two guys at 147 is if he fights Shawn Porter if he fights Kell Brook. And whatever he needs to do to make that fight, to make those fight happens, that's what he needs to do. And you know what they say? What is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. I think that's the saying. Necessity is the mother of invention. You have a problem with Bob Arum saying he doesn't want to pay the fight, doesn't want to pay for the fight, or you have, because like in a scenario where he could have fought Danny Garcia, but they offered Danny Garcia $3 million, then offered Amir Khan $7 million. Shawn Porter, I mean, how you got to get this guy to make a better offer, or you got to get out of there. Whatever it is, I can't give Bud the offer. I can't give him, but I know for one thing for sure that the argument gets stronger, the push gets bigger, and he's not idly sitting by fighting guys like Igis Kalvanakis and Alexander Boost Putin and Jose Benavidez and Amir Khan, when the biggest name that you have on your welterweight on your resume in the welterweight division is Amir Khan, a current Amir Khan, it's just not a good look, man. So my thing is, Bud, fight Porter. This is the perfect time. Fight Porter. Make Bob Arum give you Porter. If you got to take a pay cut to fight Porter, then take a pay cut to fight Porter. Hey, yeah, look, Bob, I got to get this Porter fight. I need this fight because if I beat this guy, then the push, my pay-per-views will go up. We can make this thing happen. Let me get Shawn Porter. Give Shawn Porter what he needs to get this fight. Go into a room with old man Bob and convince this dude that you are somebody that he can get behind, because right now, you know, he's not willing to do it, man. Anyway, it is what it is. That's how I see it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.